All right, good day. Hope that you're doing well. So in this video, we're going to be looking into your proportionality theorem. Basically, we're going to be proving it, right? And as you can see, the question states that we need to prove a theorem which states that AD divided by DB is equals to AE divided by EC, which is basically your proportionality. Now, the first step with regard to proving a theorem, remember, is construction. So what is it that I'm going to construct? So I'm going to join line B, E. So that's the first thing that I'm going to do. And what else am I going to join? I'm going to join line DC, right? So let me go about stating that. So I'm going to join line DC and line D, BE, all right? And what else am I going to do? I'm going to construct my height, right? So I'm going to construct height H as well as height K. So let me go about doing that. So starting off with the first one, let me name this one H, right? My perpendicular height, and let me name this one K, right? And under my construction, I'm going to say, I'm going to construct height K and H, right? Which is basically what I did there. Now, what else am I going to do? Now, proof, right? Let me go about proving this. So let me just write this on the side. Now, let us go about proving that. And how are we going to go about doing this? So we're going to be making use of our area. So it's going to be the area of triangle ADE. So this is ADE, right? So this is going to be the area of triangle ADE. And this is going to be divided by, so let me quickly erase these here. This is going to be divided by the area of DEB, area of triangle DEB. All right. So we also going to do the same thing again, whereby we're going to say the area of triangle ADE, which is this triangle at the top, ADE. So let me write that here on the side. So the area of triangle ADE. Now, this here is going to be divided by the area of, you can take a guess, the other small triangle, right? This here is going to be divided by, so let me just quickly erase here. Remember before we divided by the area of DEB. Now we're going to divide by the area of EDC, right? Triangle EDC. All right, that'll be your first step. Now, what is it that we need to do from here? Now, remember the formula for your area is 1 over 2 base times height. All right, now if you could look at ADE, right, which is this triangle here at the top, ADE, right? We need to identify its base, we need to identify its height. Now, on the first formula, we're going to use the height of H. On the second formula, we're going to use the height of K, right? So now let us look at ADE. Remember, what is it? How do you identify your base? Your base is perpendicular to your height, right? So remember here we had height H, right? And if you could look at this height H is perpendicular to this line AD, right? As a result, AD would be our base in this instance. So here, the formula here, it will be 1 over 2 base times height, which is AD, our base, and our height is going to be H. Now we need to do the same for triangle DEB, right? So let me just quickly erase here. Now, let us look at DEB, right? So let me just quickly make a rough sketch of it here on the side. DEB. Now, it has a perpendicular height of H, right? This is my height H. And this height H, as you can see, it's perpendicular, right, to this line of DB, right? This H is outside of your triangle, but if you could see, it's perpendicular, right? And here you have your base, which should be DB, right? As a result, DB would be our base in this instance. Basically, our height is perpendicular to this line DB, right? So DB would be my base here. So it will be 1 over 2 multiplied by base, which is DB, multiplied by my perpendicular height, which is H, right? So I am done for this. I've just substituted, right? So I'm done with the substitution with regards to the first formula. Now I need to go about substituting on the second formula right over here. So now remember here we're going to be using height k, right? So the area of triangle ADE, remember is that triangle we had at the top, right? So this is ADE. And if we make our k, right, the base here, can you see that this k here is perpendicular to this line AE? Right? So as a result, AE would be our base in this instance. So the formula here, it will be 1 over 2 base, which is AE, multiplied by my height, which is K. Now I need to do the same for triangle EDC. So let me just quickly draw it on the side here. So this is E, this is D, this is C. Now, if you could look at triangle EDC, it has a perpendicular height, and this perpendicular height is height k. And as you can see, k is perpendicular to this line EC. So as a result, EC would be our base in this instance, right? So this would be 1 over 2 multiplied by my base, which is EC, multiplied by my height, which is k, right? And I'm done with the substitution of the second formula. Now, simplification. Now, let me start with the first formula. These two are going to cancel out one another, right? These are also going to cancel out one another. And what is it that is going to be left here? I'm going to be left with AD over DB. What about here? Same applies. These K's are going to cancel out one another. This 1 over 2's are going to cancel out one another. And I'm going to be left with AE over EC. Now, let's look at these formulas, right, in detail. Remember here at the top I said the area of triangle ADE. Same applies here, area of triangle ADE. Do you agree that these two are going to be basically these two are exactly the same thing, right? So because why? Both of them, they represent the area of triangle ADE, right? So as a result, what is the area of triangle ADE that we found on the first formula, right? Simplified, it's AD. And here, simplified, the area of triangle ADE, it's AE. So already we can see that these two are equal to one another. What about these ones at the bottom? Triangle of the area of triangle EDC as well as the area of triangle DEB. Now, I want you to have a look at something. So these two triangles, right? Triangle DEB as well as triangle EDC, they are between parallel lines. So their bases, remember, this is the base of one of the triangles, right? And this is the base of the other triangle. These two bases for the two triangles, they are between parallel lines, right? And as a result, because the two bases of the two triangles are between parallel lines, the two areas are going to be equal to one another, right? So basically here, what is it that I'm saying? I'm saying that the area of triangle DEB, right? This here, area of triangle DEB is going to be equal to the area of triangle EDC. And why is that? It is because their bases are between parallel lines, right? Because their bases are between parallel lines, the two areas for the triangles are going to be equal to one another, right? So now remember, initially I said the triangle of ADE, it is equals to this, which is also the same thing, which is the triangle of ADE. Now, the triangle of EDC, it is exactly the same as the area of triangle of DEB, right? And now, why is that? Remember, their bases are between parallel lines. So therefore, I can conclude that AE over EC, right, which is the area of triangle ADE over the area of triangle EDC, it is equals to the area of triangle ADE, which is AD, over the area of triangle DEB, which is DB, right? And this is what we were required to prove. AD over DB, right? This is exactly the same as AE over EC, and that will be our final answer.